Welcome everyone to another great Age of Empires 4 video, where we are talking about which is the best Castle Age knight in Age of Empires 4. So, I used all this knight to battle each other, and let me tell you that it took me, I don't know, was it around 10 hours maybe? But I did it. That was this is really long of a testing, honestly, and at the end I went literally crazy because you need to test, let's say, Templar Brother 14 times, right? Or you need to test Catapult. After that you need to test the Lancer, but you don't need to test Templar Brother versus Lancer again if you already tested it with Lancer, etc, etc, right? So let's see first what we are going to talk about. We have here, so after all the calculation and the crazy amount of testing, you can see I even wrote I'm going crazy because I'm testing I was testing a lot, left to right, eco resources, castle age with a move, that was a lot of things, but the rules are this. Okay, so the rules are the units can charge into each other, right? So we are starting with the charge, and after that just attack move, 0 micro. So I will let the knights charge to each other, and after that just attack move. So let's see what is the first unit from all these that gonna be into the lowest tier. Because let me tell you that there's gonna be one unit that didn't win a single game, a single match. Yes, you heard it correctly. There will be one knight that didn't win a single match. A really nice Google sheet that first I wrote up everything that we need to know about the units. Like bonuses, like oh yeah, I took the Abbasid Lancer, the Chinese Lancer, and the English Lancer here. I didn't really calculate the English Lancer in these because you need the tower, and I tried to do this with the most realistic scenarios, right? Which means these English knights 90% of the time or 95% of the time will not fight under a network of castle. When they do, they have 1.17 attack speed, and because of that they are one of the best knights. But the reason why we are not seeing the English knights doing so good and so well, because as I said, 95% of the time there is no tower, so you can't utilize that amazing 1.17 attack speed. So I'm pretty sure it was either S or A tier, the English knight, which is crazy. It was as good as a mounted samurai. Maybe they even beat the mounted samurai. I'm not sure. I don't remember correctly. But well, anyway, first knight was the Gilded Knight. Yes, you read it correctly. The Gilded Knight didn't won a single eco resource match. Even against the normal Lancers, the Gilded Knights lost. And what are we using for the Gilded Knights? So let's go here. I'm pretty sure I wrote it down. Maybe I did not. But we will check. Gilded, Order of Dragon, Gilded Knight. So, okay, I forgot to wrote it here, but I did use the Prelate Inspire, which gives +1 armor, and also the 15% extra damage. So I did use for the Order of the Dragon to test it with that. So even with the 15 extra damage and a 1/1 armor, they couldn't win a single match. Like they just couldn't, which is crazy. So again, the first unit that goes into F tier is gonna be the Gilded Knight. So let's go back and let's reveal our second unit from all these knights, which gonna be the Abbasid Lancer, which is just like a normal knight that won one game only, and that was against the Gilded Knight. So if it was like a Chinese Lancer or a Abbasid Lancer or a English knight without the tower, right? Then you can see one victory, but still goes into the F tier. So we're just gonna put here like this, you know, or and the English and the China as well, because they have the normal knights. Okay, so that's gonna be the normal knight. Well, let's see what's gonna be the next unit on this tier list. That maybe gonna be F, maybe not gonna be F from all these units. And the unit is the Chevalier Confirm. Now, in Feudal, they were insanely good and insanely strong, but they won only 2 games. Yes, you read it correctly. They just won only twice. So Chevalier Confirm goes into the D tier. Templar and Chevalier Confirm. Next one is gonna be Sofa. Now I did use for the Sofa the imported armor, because again when I'm testing these fights, I'm also taking note what their bonuses are, right? Just like chivalry heals out of combat, plus 10 attack for 5 seconds, etc. So I'm taking note that I'm using all the bonuses for everything. So it is the Sofa D tier in equal. So they won 3 matches in the testing. So Sofa D tier. The next one is gonna be the Dali Lancer. So you can see the extra 3 damage actually boosted them a little bit higher, right? Because, you know, extra 3 damage is extra 3 damage. I'm pretty sure the extra 3 damage goes into their charge damage as well. So the charge damage got higher and their base damage is getting higher as well. Well, House of Learning is actually looks so far good, looking good. And they go into the D tier as well. The I didn't put another knight here, but it is what it is. So Delhi goes into D tier, and they are stronger than that too. Okay. So the next one, which not gonna be, I'm pretty sure, D tier anymore, is gonna be the Zushi Lancer, which is gonna be into the C tier. The Zushi Lancer that has the faster attack speed, that really pushed them into 6 wins and 14 losses. Amazing. So C tier, and that's it. The next one is gonna be... Oh, sorry. 6 wins and 8 losses. 40 matches. I forgot that I put the matches into the middle. Alright, so the next gonna be the Ottoman Lancer, which 7 game wins. Now you are asking me, what happened here? Why is the Ottoman Lancer so strong? But if you go back here and we find the Ottoman, which is here, you can see the Ottomans have the Metal Aura, which grants them 15% attack speed. They actually beated the Zushi Lancers with their own attack speed. So, as I said, we are going to the B tier with the Ottoman Lancer and not S tier. You know what I mean? Alright, next one is gonna be the Keshik's A tier. Yeah, you can see correctly. The Keshiks won 8 games out of the 14. Isn't that crazy? 8 wins out of 14. Keshiks are actually really good, and they can beat easily the Gilded Knights. I think against the Gilded Knights, if I remembered. So how did I test this? I tested 15 Keshik versus, I think it was either 7 or 8 Gilded Knights. And I think there was like 6, 7 Keshik still alive after the fight. So it was like crazy. It was actually crazy how the Keshik can literally survive the Gilded Knights as well. So Keshiks in Castle Age, they become insanely good. Love them. Compared to Feudal. In Feudal, they are like meh. In Castle, they are like insane. But I'm gonna show you something using the what if. So the way I tested the Keshiks, I didn't use all of their bonuses, which is the Kurutai and the Kurutai and the Khan arrow, which gives them two extra armor. I used only the Keshik and the Keshik upgrade that you can find in the Castle Age. So Keshik goes into A tier. Alright. This one? Okay. Next one is gonna be the Camel Lancer. Camel Lancer had 8 wins as well with 6 losses, as you can see. So the Camel Lancers were really, really good. But let me show you some games with the Camel Lancers. So the Camel Lancers lost to Cutterfrog. The Cutterfrog actually beated them. Camel Lancer was able to beat the Zushi Lancer. Camel Lancer beated the Delhi Lancers. Camel Lancer actually lost to HRE Knights. Camel Lancers beated the Gilded Knight with 8 Gilded Knight that had the Predat Inspire. Camel Lancers lost to Lancaster Knights. Camel Lancers lost to Mounted Samurais. Camel Lancers won against Chevalier Confer. Camel Lancers actually lost to Templar Brother, which is crazy, right? So the reason behind that, because Templar Brother has a bonus charge damage, just like the Camel Lancer, and the Templar Brother has way much more HP. Let me show you. So if we go to Templar Brother, which we can find it here, Templar Brother, you can see they have 275 HP, while the Camel Lancer has only 210. And I did use the extra damage on charge with the Templar Brothers. So, Camel Lancer, let me increase the text a little bit. Camel Lancer versus Sofa lost. Camel Lancer versus Keshik won. Camel Lancer versus Ottoman Lancer, the Camel Lancer won, and Camel Lancer versus Rus Knight, the Camel Lancer won. Alright, let's go to the bottom again. So let's put the Camel Lancer into A tier. Boom, Camel Lancer's right over there. Okay, let's go to the next one, which gonna be the big reveal. The HRE Knight with 9 wins and only 5 losses. Wow, go straight into the A tier. The reason why the HRE Knight is so high, because the Predat Inspire and the 2-2 armor from the Mineberg. If the HRE Knight had no 2-2 armor from the Mineberg and no Predat buff, then it would be just the normal Knight, so it's gonna be just like the Abbasid Lancer, just 1 win, right? But you can see how strong. So compare the HRE Knight to a regular Lancer or regular Knight, right? So regular Lancer, regular Knight won only 1 game. I lost 13. An HRE Knight with the Minework and the Predat Inspire actually won 9 games and just lost 5. For me, that's crazy. HRE goes into A tier. Let's check what is the next one. Boom! It's the Cutterfrog, which also won 9 games and lost only to 5. Now we're gonna check some games as well at the top. So you can see Cutterfrog here. These are the Cutterfrog. Cutterfrog beated the Zushi Lancer. Cutterfrog beated the Delhi Lancer. Cutterfrog lost against HRE Knights. Cataphracts beated the Gilded Knights. Cataphracts lost against Lancaster Knights. Cataphract lost against Mounted Samurai. Cataphract won against 30 Chevalier Confere. Cataphract won against 19. Templar Brothers. Sorry. Templar Brothers won against Cataphract. Cataphract won against 27 Sofa, and Cataphract won against 27 Keshik. Cataphract won against 20 Ottoman Lancer, but Cataphract lost against Rus Knight. And yes, you can read this correctly. So you are asking me how the Rus Knight won actually, but I can tell you that because the Rus is such a nice civilization here. Their knight have, you can read it here, Boyar's Fortitude, which gives them 25 extra HP. Warrior Monk Saint's Blessing adds 2 extra damage and 1 armor after striking. So that's how I tested it. That I didn't really use the Warrior Monk in the fight. I just hit a unit once, and after that I let the knights to do their job. So I didn't use the Warrior Monk as well as like extra HP into those testing. I just hit a unit once and I just let the units do their job. So the Boyar's Fortitude, the extra HP, the 2 extra damage and a 1 armor really did its job. So the Cataphract lost against the Rus Knight, but if the Keshik was under Kurutai, the Keshik won. Okay, so if you're a little bit like brain dead, you know, no, you are not. Sorry, I'm not saying that. If you are fighting against Kurutai, you 100% gonna lose. Okay, Kurutai is insanely strong. It's busted. Okay, Kurutai is busted. So let's go to the next, and at the same time, we are putting the Cataphract into A tier. Again, just for you to don't forget, these tests are with charge, and after that, A move, 0 micro. And only between knights. So the next one will be... Now, which one? Is it Mounted Samurai? Is it House of Lancaster? Rus Knights in the castle age is insane. They are insane. 11 win. They won against 11 of these knights. Isn't that crazy? So Rus Knights goes to the S tier. They are the first knight that going to the S tier right now. Oh wait, did I forget Templar Brother? Oh, Templar Brother wasn't revealed yet. I didn't reveal Templar Brother yet. Are you excited to know this little unit that again, so many people doesn't know, the Templar Brother only 20 resource more compared to a normal knight. Okay, it's even less if you go up with the Chevalier Confere, but you don't want to make Chevalier Confere in Castle Age, because as I show you how bad they are in Castle compared to Feudal, because in Feudal, Chevalier Confere was the top 1 knight between knight fight. So Templar Brother again, the reason why they are strong, because they have crazy amount of HP. So this is a HP of a Templar Brother, right? And this is a normal knight. 230 HP versus 275. And they have the +2 damage per nearby charging heavy cavalry, which boosts their damage a lot. And again, instead of 140 gold, they cost 133 if you go up with the Chevalier Confere. But if you are in the Castle Age with KT on land, you don't want to make Chevalier Confere anymore. You want to switch into Templar Brother immediately, because they are insanely strong. And they are not that more expensive. Alright, let's go to the next. We put Rus into S tier. And Templar Brother! It's Lancaster Knight! Won 11 game with only 3 losses. And you might ask you, like, why did Lancaster Knight won so many games? That doesn't make sense. It actually does. Because if you go to the House of Lancaster and you go to the right, you can see they have +5 damage against heavy, and also there is one more upgrade that increases into +6. So we played with a +6 damage against heavy, and that 6 extra damage actually goes to their charge damage as well. So not just the melee damage, but their charge damage. And that was insane. I tested all those games and I was holding my head like, oh my god, there is no way I'm gonna show this. There is no way I'm gonna show this because that was crazy. So the next one goes into the S tier. That's gonna be the House of Dentester. Okay, so let's see. The next one is gonna be Templar Brother with 12 games. 12 games and only 2 losses. Wow. So 85% win rate. Templar Brother was most of the games. So let's see where was Templar Brother. Really good. Oh wait, we're gonna check at the end. So Templar Brother goes to the S tier, and the last one is the Mounted Samurai. Didn't drop a single match. Yes, you read it correctly. The Mounted Samurai didn't drop a single match. Mounted Samurai built it all the knights in Age of Empires 4 in Castle Age. Gilded Knights, H30 Knights, Lancaster Knights, Templar Brother, doesn't matter. We are Mounted Samurai and we beat all your ass. Yes, you read it correctly. The best knight in H3 is the Mounted Samurai. So, as I said, let's check the Templar Brothers. So here, the Abbasid Lancer against a normal Lancer, they beat them easily. So let's see where the Templar Brother actually lost. Which one was it? Okay, so they lost against the Mounted Samurai, makes sense. And lost against Keshik here. You read it correctly. And there is no note that Keshik won with Khan or Kurutai. So the Keshik didn't need it, Khan or Kurutai, to beat the Templar Brothers. Yes, you read it correctly. So Keshik was the only knight or lancer that actually beated 15 Templar Brother. So we have a little bit of, this is an old table. This is a very, very old table. So we have a little bit of, like a testing, an extra testing. And I'm gonna reveal that immediately right now, everything together. This is the what if. What if the Keshik used the Kurutai and the Khan non-stop? So if the Keshiks used the Khan and the Kurutai non-stop, then they would have 11 wins. Yes, you read it correctly. Then the Keshiks would be into the S tier. And also the Gilded Knights went up to here, to A. And you are asking why the Gilded Knight went to A tier. Well, there is something very, very important that I need to tell you what happened. So I tested the Gilded Knight, 15 Gilded Knight versus equal resources. Just like 15 Cataphract versus equal resources Gilded Knight, Camel Lancer versus... And for some unknown reason, when I tested with 15 Gilded Knight versus equal amount of resource, most of the time they won. Yes, you read it correctly. Most of the time, the Gilded Knight actually won. So the more Gilded Knight you have, even though it's equal resources, for some unknown reason, they started winning. And I was like, wait, they are beating Rus Knight. They are beating Templar Brother. But when I tested like 15 Keshik versus 5... what was that? 15 Keshik versus 5 Gilded Knight, right? The Keshik won. But when it was 15 Gilded Knight versus 30 Keshik, I think it was 30 or something like that. Actually, the Gilded Knights won. So this is a what if the Gilded Knights are higher in number, and what if you have for the Keshiks you have non-stop Kurutai and non-stop Khan 2/2 armor. Alright, so this is the Knight tier list. I spent 10 hours testing non-stop. Please blow this video up, throw a like, a comment as well, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and now I'm going to the bed.